Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is the Road to the Record weekly review special for week 14 of the Gaming Decathlon competition. This week I brought in 3,706 points, a little bit of a drop from last week. We had one game replaced with new scores coming in. We had two other games replaced, but no score yet. And then we had one game starting a new season, and saw a drop of score there. So not bad, but next week with those two new ones, it's going to drop even further, I would suspect. Best round was now 6 weeks ago. The current virtual best does see a small decrease with the new game, 4,324, and the all-time virtual best does increase by a small margin to 7,483. Breaking down the games individually, PCM 19 in the career mode, continuing to make rapid progress this season in the World Tour. 484 points already, well under halfway through the season, approaching halfway point anyway, but all three Grand Tours still in front of us, so big points out there. And the Stage Racer, getting close to the end of the season. We're still in La Vuelta, both episodes this week taking place during that race, so not big points scored over the last couple of weeks, but now just a few stages to go, and I'm in second place overall. I'm way behind the leader, Chris Froome. And it's not comfortable behind me. There are two riders that are relatively close, but the gap did open up a bit in that regard, a little bit to one of them anyway. And so I've got a little more breathing room there. It's looking pretty likely that I've got a podium wrapped up, but whether I have second or third is still far more in question than whether I have any chance of taking the win. I think I can probably hang on to second place, though. And that's going to be worth a ton of points. We'll see that jump to maybe even 900. FM20 Zero to Hero, that's the new season. We finished last season at 250. This week we started the new season already at 126. We're halfway to that record mark. As we move up division by division, our base score gets a little bit higher. But of course, the competitions that we're in get tougher. There was a couple easy trophies, which I didn't win, by the way. But we were getting semifinal, final, or quarterfinal each season. Well, now all of a sudden I'm in some tougher competitions where we're not going to place as high. So those bonus points might be going away. So it's going to be hard to increase that base for a couple more seasons until we start getting into those higher tiers and start placing a little higher in things like the FA Cup. Out of the park. Wrapped up our first season, 201 points. Not a great total. It was a tough year. It was a really tough year. All of the points came from just win total since we didn't make the playoffs and weren't even close. That's going to go up, but it's going to take a while. It took us a lot of episodes to get to the end of that first season. It'll take a few less in the next season. I mean, there's going to be a little bit less content to get through a season now that we've seen it all, but only a few less episodes. And as we're getting down to 2 or 3 per week, it's going to take me quite a few weeks to get back to that point and wrap up our second season. And it's going to take till the end or near the end of the season before we actually eclipse that total. So that 200 is going to be sitting there for a while. Close to a month anyway. Bannerlord is new. It is onto the channel. It did start this week. I'm still not sure how to score it. So I have no score for it. So Rebel Inc. still on there for now. Bannerlord is replacing that. But again, I have to figure out how to score it. But there's too much about the game that's not out there yet. I don't know how many holdings we can have. I know what things I want to score, but I don't know how to score them, if that makes sense. And even if I did, I think our score would be very small at this point. We're probably in the teens or 20s, maybe 30 points. And that's based on party size and levels that would get us there. Maybe we have 50 points at this point. It depends on how the scoring goes. But no fiefdoms or anything like that. Clan tier is still very low, so overall score quite low. But again, unscored currently. Farming Sim, the COVID-19 series, Still at 20 points, we own one field. That series also starting to slow down as new series are coming out, so fewer episodes coming out. Also, very few views in the recent episodes, so I don't know how much longer that series will last as is. Also, with the release of Sandy Bay as a new map this week, Sandy Bay is the best map on Farming Sim. Loved Sandy Bay in FS17. Spent a lot of time on there, and I'm preparing another series for that, but it would definitely replace the COVID-19 series and not something else. In the pro basketball for Draft Esports, still season end. Had a lot of off-season stuff this time that I don't normally have, but worked it a little differently, added in a little more depth to it, and actually had a really good off-season for a change. So really excited by that, and I think next week we're definitely starting the new season. So we're to that point finally. Another new one on the channel, and this one able to be scored right away. A second series for Farming Sim 19, Last Frontier. So the COVID-19 one is multiplayer with family. The Last Frontier one playing single player. And excited by the prospect from this one. And I'm having fun doing that series. But the map isn't well known, and so there's not a bunch of attention. I think there's only one other person doing a series on that map besides myself, so there's only two of us out there, but they're an established farm sim channel. Well, I've just brought that to the channel, and so they're definitely getting the bulk of the views regarding that map. 35 points early on. I own one field and one building, but that one's definitely going at a faster pace than the COVID-19 series, so I do expect it to outscore it significantly. And we'll see how long that series lasts, because, again, not very many views. I'd like to build a farming sim audience. I think it could definitely be one of my staples down the road. PCM, FM was a staple. I'm trying to get it back there. And then out of the park, I'm getting a pretty good audience with that. Some of you might be here from seeing that, and that one could certainly stick around for a good while. And then, of course, my Draft Esports series that have been a long-term staple. I think Farming Sim could fit into that staple. It's just I've got to build an audience with that, so that's why I'm kind of rotating through some series there to try to bring some new viewers in. It's going to take time. There's a lot of YouTubers who do Farming Sim, and so there's a ton of competition for that. A lot of people are watching videos for Farming Sim, though, and that's one of the reasons for it. So, little give and take. Alright, anyway, Broken Lines is out. It's been retired for a while. Replacing it, Good Company, started this week. Again, another series that's new. And I think I know how to score that one. Next week, it'll definitely appear as a score. I think I know how I'm going to score that one, but I'm not sure. I'm giving it a little bit of time to see what's going on. If my scoring system is what I think it might be, I actually have 0 points right now, so it's going to take a little while to get that one going. But unlike Bannerlord, that introduced with quite a few episodes, Good Company, slower series, not expecting the attention. It's a smaller indie developer, so that one may end up only being 10, 15 episodes in total by the time I get to the end of that series anyway. But we'll see how it takes. The first episode's getting good feedback on it. And finally, FM20 has been retired for a little while now, a week or two, and that would be the next one to be replaced on the list. And actually, as I'm up to 9 series, it's the only one that is currently inactive, other than those couple scores that still got to come up. On the all-time virtual best side, we did see one mover, Stage Racer. Even though it didn't score a lot of points, it was only 14 points. That was enough to get into the podium and overtake my all-time favorite game, Europa Universalis 4. So EU4 drops to 4th. And my second PCM series of Pro Cyclist with a stage racer now cracks the top 3. It's still 200 points away from last year's series. And I think it's next season where I'm going to see that total eclipsed and get to 1,000. If we're with Idios, I think we can definitely do that. But as we are currently with Mitchelton Scott and 0 support, it's really hard to get results right now. And I'm playing on a harder difficulty than we did last year anyway, so it's harder, period. Outside of the list, the only movement was Out of the Park, adding just over 50 points there, and that somehow only moved up 1 spot. As close as a lot of the games are on the outside of the list, there's a lot of games just a few points on that list. Somehow there was a big gap, and Out of the Park kind of just bridged to that gap, and then only moved him up 1 spot, but expect that one to go quite a bit higher down the road. Right now, season done. Draft Day Sports season done. FM20 just started the new season, so all 3 of those games in the low 200s could make jumps, but they're not going to happen this season, as they're all going into new seasons. Anyway, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in. That does it for this review special. Be safe out there, everybody. It is a really rough time with the coronavirus and cases, at least at the time of recording just yesterday, went over 1 million worldwide. Death tolls are climbing very, very quickly as well. I'll see you next time. Have a good week. Bye for now.